What's up, everyone? Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. I'm your host, Graham Powell, on this screen. That's Bradley on the other. Say what's up, Bradley.
How's it going?
So far, so bueno. We got a few things to talk about here and there, mostly football stuff. So we'll get started. But before we do that, first let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit your screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. And once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. You can find us, Shoe Woody Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, let's talk Razorback football, Razorback Ole Miss. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way, shall we?
Why not?
I thought it would be a better game than probably most people thought it would be. It was a complete blowout last year, of course. I didn't even, the bits and pieces I watched of the game, it didn't last very long because it was so bad. Jackson Dart threw a million touchdowns and yards against Arkansas. It wasn't even close. This game, much different. Ole Miss not as good as they were last year. I mean, still a good team, but not as good as they were last year. Arkansas better than they were last year. I can already tell that.
Yep.
And we had it looked like Ole Miss was gonna not run away with it, but had separated themselves in the fourth quarter, and then Arkansas found a way to creep back. And I thought they were going to go down and score at the end of the game.
Everybody did.
It,
Yeah. Everybody
it,
did.
there were no signs that Ole Miss could stop them really the whole game. There were cut what one or two punts from Arkansas.
One, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just one, and it's funny because that was the one time that they stopped Ole Miss offensively, and I was like, okay, Arkansas, go down, score, take the lead. Of course, that's the time Arkansas punts. But Ole Miss scores, takes a two possession lead, and you think, all right, well, here we go. And Arkansas finds a way to get themselves back in it and get a chance to win. And I thought they were going to go down and score, and I'm not going to say win it because knowing how Arkansas's defense played, Ole Miss could have easily completed one or two long passes and set up a field goal, last second field goal to win it. So I'm not going to say they were going to win it, but it looked like Arkansas was going to go down the field, score, and win the game.
I don't think they would have had any time left had we scored. Like, if the clock was running, that fumble happened with, what, a minute 50 left and the clock's ticking.
In
I mean,
theory,
you'd
yes,
chew a
but
lot of
it's
class.
in theory, yes, but it's Arkansas's defense. I mean, there could be,
That and they had some timeouts, I'm pretty sure. So,
yeah, they could have had 8 seconds left, and knowing Arkansas's D, they could have given up two 35-yard pass plays.
why stop at 35?
Yeah. Well, I'm being trying to be realistic, but at the same, it's realistic that they could have given up more. But either way, um, Arkansas comes out of a time. It was coming out of a timeout, right? Um,
Yes.
Pass completion, first down. I don't remember the wide receiver, but he got stripped, and
It was
it was a good
Brown.
play. Yeah, it was a good. Excuse me, it was a good play by the defender. It wasn't like it was just some egregious fumble, but still, you got to secure the football,
Yeah.
and they didn't, and Ole Miss wrapped it up after that.
And the other Arkansas receiver was very close to recovering that fumble off of the replay. It was just right there. And no, wasn't meant to be. But yeah, Arkansas, man, they Arkansas'd real hard in those final 2 minutes. Or well, just on that singular play. But yeah, they found a new way to lose. Congratulations. But we're a better team than we were last year. And I want to say I can see a sixth win coming from somewhere. It gives me hope
it
because we
does give
weren't
me
supposed to
hope.
win this game.
No, we weren't. Uh, I do see it, but Arkansas plays Ole Miss well. It's like LSU. Arkansas plays LSU well. It really doesn't matter how the teams are ranked. They're usually good games. Yeah, I think Arkansas can get a sixth win. I don't. I pointed out where I thought it could be Tennessee, A&M, or I can't even remember the other at this point. Um, yeah, Tennessee, A&M, and somewhere else down the road. LSU, Tennessee, A&M, LSU. What what do you think of Brian Kelly's press conference after the game? By the way, being asked the question about the offense,
I didn't see any of it.
he went off on a reporter for asking about the how they couldn't run the ball in the, offensively in the second half, especially, and he goes, stop, we won the game, and I get it. Like you're right, you won the
Yeah,
game, but at the same time, it's a fair question. He's doing his job, asking about the offense. The reporter clapped back a little bit. Kind of did it with a bit of a nervous laugh, but still made his point. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of coaches that clap. Now, granted, being a former media member, maybe I'm a little biased, but
a little bit.
yeah, but it's a fair question. I get it if it's a stupid question. I've also been in the reporting room where there were some really dumb questions asked by someone, and I was like, "What kind of question was that?" So I can understand a coach popping off at that, but that was a fair question. Why isn't your offense moving the ball? You're the offensive coach. That's what you were brought in to do. But he's right. They won the game,
Yeah.
and LSU is still unbeaten, and I don't know if they'll stay at number three, but it's a good team. I didn't like the clapback by Brian Kelly. I thought it was a fair question. He was being sensitive for some reason there. Uh, and I'm sure it's because he gets asked. He hears this stuff all the time, and that might have been a breaking point. But it was a fair question by the reporter.
Yeah.
But they did win the game, so he's right. But the reporter's right in asking, why can't you move the football? Um, you being the offensive coach and all. Anyway, back to the Razorbacks. Overall grade, defense gets a just a straight F, right? I mean, they
Straight F.
couldn't
Yeah.
stop
If you could get an
stop
F
a nosebleed.
minus, it would get an F minus, but
Yeah. What would you
straight.
grade the team? What would you grade the team? Just the team overall performance.
Uh man. I mean, our offense showed out. We didn't make any dumb plays on special teams. But man, our defense
Well,
sucked something.
two missed field goals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that guy's I thought he was the number one kicker in the nation to recruit.
I don't know about all that, but I mean, two missed field goals that would have been it would have been tied. Like
Well, yeah, that
Arkansas.
makes it even worse, man. Like a D plus. It's
Yeah, that's ripping the offense a little too much there. I mean, I get it. The defense is that bad.
defense is horrible. You said as a whole,
Yeah.
that's going to weigh down a lot.
That's
Because man,
actually a pretty fair score because you're taking the
and the
offense
special
and the
teams.
defense, which were night and day, and you're just throwing the special teams in there. So D plus actually is probably a fair grade. But I still feel better about like I was I was frustrated with the game. I was genuinely frustrated, but when I had time to cool down, and I tell myself I'm not going to get worked up over Razorback games, and try not to. But
Yeah,
it didn't ruin my night. But I was annoyed and in not a good mood for a good hour probably after
they
that.
do what they always do, man. They get you to believe it.
Yeah, I thought Arkansas was going to go down and score and win the game,
But
and people are going to talk about Taylor Green more
yeah,
seriously as a Heisman candidate after that.
yes. Was I upset at the fumble? Yes. Was I shocked? No.
No, you're not surprised, but it still
We,
hurts.
yeah. It's like, oh man, haven't we seen this before? It's like,
It, I'm not going to make this comparison
but
because
anyways,
it's going to be out
moving
of
on.
pocket.
Did you see
Um,
how the other team from Arkansas did over the weekend against the top 25 team?
yes, Arkansas State. That just tells me Iowa State's not a top 25 team. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, Arkansas State's going to be just fine for the Sun Belt and might get to a bowl game or will probably get to a bowl game, or I don't know, might probably, and they'll have a good chance to win it. But I'm not surprised by that score, but that just tells me Iowa State's not they're not the 12th best team in the country or whatever they were. Uh, Before I forget, I will give Arkansas a C minus just to be slightly different than you. Just because I thought the offense looked that good at times.
Oh, it looks great.
I continue to like what I see from Taylor Green. He has a couple of head scratchers every game, but man, for the most part, gosh, he's really good. He over 300 passing yards, over 100 rush yards. Still had didn't throw a pick. They He had one that was called back because of a
Yeah.
penalty, but yeah, no interceptions. Taylor Green continuing to show out. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. I like the running back they have, Omega Blake. I like him as a receiver. Absolute dog at receiver. That was a heck of a find in the transfer portal. But I don't know. After stewing on it a little bit, I'll say C minus. I would have said C, but with the special teams, and they weren't
Yeah.
chip shot field goals. But still, it's like
No,
you got to make.
still opportunity.
Yeah,
It's like,
you still got to make those. C minus for the Hogs. But what were you going to say or did say that I forgot about?
I have
Okay,
no idea.
maybe I made that up. I don't know. But other games, Clemson loses to Georgia Tech. I wasn't surprised by that loss. Georgia Tech
Yeah.
is just that kind of football team. They win games like that. And Clemson, this has just been the trend since NIL and the transfer portal. They're not what they were before prior to that. Prior to NIL, Clemson was as good of a program in the country, and they're just not anymore. They've not adapted to this new era of college football, NIL era of college football, and it shows. I'm not evolution, adapt or perish, and right now, Dabo and company are 1-2. So something's going to have to change. I know he's stubborn. I know what he did before worked, but those days are over, Dabo.
Yeah.
Like you're smarter than that. Don't be stubborn. Don't let stubbornness ruin what you've worked so hard to build. I mean, I get it. You built it on the foundation of that, but things have changed. The game has changed. Now you have to. When you can't play the same way that we could back when we played. You can't tackle people a certain way anymore, especially at the pro level or even at the college level. Things change. You can't base things on what got you there, or you can't stick to the same ways that maybe got you there. You got to change the same way that the game has changed. Adapt with it. Adapt or perish. That's all I'll say about that. I'm not surprised with it, by the way. What other games went on in college football we want to talk about before we move on to pro
I don't
football?
know. I don't know the Notre Dame A&M game.
It's a good one. It's a good game.
It was a pretty good one. Does Notre Dame make the playoffs? They have
No,
two losses already. I say no. But there's some people making a case for them if they went out. They're like, oh, well, they've got to include them. I don't think they do.
I don't know.
Um,
God, now if they win out, maybe. I mean, it's a
yeah,
12 team playoff now,
but they're
so
not going to win out. I don't think they're going to win out. They have
I,
an easy schedule. I think they're going to lose another. But
I don't
we'll
know what
see.
their schedule looks like. I don't. Okay, Arkansas Notre Dame in 2 weeks. Who are you picking to that? I mean, you're still going Notre Dame.
Ask me after next week.
Okay. If you had to pick now, who would you go with?
I would say it'd be a coin toss game. It'd be a who can score the most points, and how yeah, home team. Even though we'll be at home, I don't know, man. Hopefully, we wouldn't lose two of those back to back or within 2 or 3 weeks. Ah, yeah.
The fact
I'll,
you even have to think about it though says something about Arkansas and what we thought they were going to be and what they are right now. So that's a plus.
yeah.
That's a plus.
Well, and Notre Dame's not what. Of course, they're not what everybody hyped them up to be. Like 9 times out of 10,
They're
they're not what
usually
the
not. Yeah, last
yeah
year was
the
they
fluke.
were. Yeah, they. I mean, now there's a reason they thought that way, or voters think that way because they were for so long until they weren't, and
Yeah.
but then they weren't. Then they stayed that way, and people kept thinking, "All right, they're back, they're back, they're back." I mean, we do this with Texas too, so that's no different. We're doing it with Clemson right now. Clemson's not what they were, and we're still, or people are still treating them like they are. Some people, voters. Um, I kept thinking Texas A&M was Mississippi State because of their helmets. You know how Mississippi State had that couple of year
Yeah,
stretch. Maybe they
I had to
still
do a
do
double take once or twice. Yeah,
just state.
yeah. Because
And
I was
I
watching it
just,
in the split screens, like so I had 4 games going, so it was very a little confusing. So
yeah, I kept thinking it was the state thing. And of course, they're the same colors. So how could you tell a difference? And then it said Aggies. And I was like, oh, because I was like, wow, Mississippi State's really, turned it around like this year. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they are 3-0, but
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's Texas A&M. It says Aggies on there. Haven't seen that style of helmet before. Because Texas A&M has that, that's their helmet, the big, you know, T and the A&M. That's their helmet until it wasn't Saturday. Anyway, all right. Anything to add before moving on to the NFL?
about Vandy.
Yeah, that was. I didn't see much of
It
the game.
helps that the other team starting quarterback goes down in the second quarter, but man, they still
Yeah,
put up some points and won the game.
they did. Apparently, Theo Vaughn got a date with Diego Pavia's mom or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't.
something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case, but it made for a good interview, I guess. Yeah, Vandy still. I mean, Diego Pavia adding to the Diego Pavia legacy. And that's just a fun name to say too, Diego Pavia. And it's fun to see Vandy having success on the football field. Uh, yeah, that's surprising. I didn't realize what's his name, Sellers, uh,
Lenoris.
Lenoris. Okay, yeah, Sellers. Yeah, heck of a player. I didn't realize he went down, but that explains a lot. See,
Yeah,
I didn't watch that game because I was in a bad mood from the Arkansas game, and I saw that that game wasn't even close, so I just wasn't even interested. I was like, I'm just gonna see what else there is. Like I was annoyed. I was genuinely annoyed by the Arkansas game for a good hour afterwards.
I got over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't ruin my night, but I was genuinely annoyed, and
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't even a good game. I don't want to see it. I didn't watch. And it was kind of over anyway at that point. Okay, pro football. I got to sit Sunday. I had a good day Sunday. I got to sit around and watch football pretty much all day, which I never get to do. I mowed my yard Friday, mowed even with the after a little bit after the sun went down, just so I could finish the yard, just so I could plan just a day of football on Sunday. Just sitting around watching pro football on Sunday. I'm glad I did that. Yard looks good. Got to sit around and watch football, so it was a good day. My fantasy team looked good for a while until they came up short last night, which I'm not surprised by that. I was projected to win going into Monday night, and I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. But my team did get close. It's my fault. I benched Seattle in favor of Green Bay just because Green Bay looked so good in week one. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice addition. And Yeah, Seattle put up 27 points on my bench, which would have won me week 2. But I made that switch, and regrettably so, because I lost by 5 points. But it's what it is. But yeah, good day of pro football. Eagles. I thought the Eagles would win. I sent you that picture of that Eagles fan, that over the top
Yeah.
Eagles fan. I was like, I'm picking the Eagles just for this guy or just because of this guy. But I think, I mean, Philly was so dominant in the Super Bowl. How could you not pick them this time around?
Yeah.
And it was a better game, but when it came down to it, Philly was just the better team. And I liked Chris Jones talking. I like that. I didn't like this, but Chris Jones talking smack at the end of the game, saying you didn't even get 100 yards, and then Jalen Hurts saying, "Shut the f up, we won the damn game." Basically, um, I like that. That's what I liked about that. I was like, "How are you going to talk smack after getting it handed to you in the Super Bowl, and then turn around and losing to that team again in week 2? How are you talking?
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't do
That
anything
makes
either."
sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Uh, yeah, good football though. Seattle turns out Seattle's at least defensively pretty good. Joe Burrow out
I
till
mean,
December.
it helps when, the team gives you 7 points. Did you see that?
I
It's
didn't see
like,
what happened, but yeah, the touchdown.
yeah, the touchdown. So it was just the kickoff. They let it bounce and roll into the end zone, and it didn't go out the back of the end zone, and nobody recovered it. Who
I
does
didn't
that?
realize that was how they did it.
Yes, that's how they did it. So that's
Wow.
14 points. Bam, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to know basic rules of
That's
football.
yeah, that's fundamentals right there.
That's that's like seventh grade stuff.
Yeah. That yeah.
I said, yeah, you should know that in seventh grade, but I remember when I was a reporter covering a ninth grade game, and PA didn't this, Pulaski Academy. This is when Coach Kevin Kelly was there, and they onside kick every kickoff, and even at the middle school, like freshman football level, they'd still do that, obviously. And this poor kid from Sylvan Hills just, I guess he treated it like a punt because they did that, and he was backing up, and everybody was just kind of in shock, like, "What are you doing?" They go and cover the football, and PA easily gets the gets the kickoff that way. I was like, "Yeah, that's something you should know, young man. Even in ninth grade, you should know that." Uh,
How about the Ravens, the Browns, man? If you would have told me that the Ravens beat the Browns 41-17, I'd say, great, dude. How many points did Derrick Henry score me in fantasy? And if you would have told me 2.4, I wouldn't have had very kind words for you. I would have thought you were just making that up. But no, that's what he really scored. Total 2.4 points. And apparently he just couldn't run anywhere. Browns have a heck of a run defense. Yeah, his longest run, 8 yards. And he fumbled again. So that's 2 straight weeks with a fumble. Uh, Needless to say, I knew I was kind of screwed because that was the first round of games. And whenever your star running back only gives you 2 points, uh, and you find out like an hour before kickoff that your starting tight end is questionable and he's not going to play. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a funny week. So I got my teeth kicked in. And yeah, I wouldn't say both leagues, but the other league, I lost by 10 points and I had Derrick Henry on that team too. So that really makes me upset.
yeah, your team did not perform very well in our league. I did see that. Um, Talking about the Packers defensively, I mean, they're 2-0. They won the game and kept Jaden Daniels from doing anything. Um, Rams beat the Titans. Bengals beat the Jaguars despite not having Joe Burrow. Like I said, is going to be out till December with the having surgery on his toe. I guess maybe it's his big toe. I don't know the details behind that.
Turf toe, man.
Yeah. Ravens dominated the Browns, like you said. Bills dominated the Jets. That wasn't even entertaining because I've of those two noon games, I would have preferred to watch the Bills just because of Josh Allen, the other being the Cowboys Giants. But it was such a lopsided game. I watched Dallas and New York, and also because I have Tyrone Tracy as my running back. And yeah, it was a good game. Russ looked
Yeah.
like 2014 Russ
It
in
would have been a
Seattle.
lot better game, yeah, if New York would have won.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to. I mean, Russ looked like Seattle Russ up until the very end of the game when he threw this just crazy interception
Yeah.
to just right to him, basically. And he had a guy underneath, but he was so successful with the deep ball all game. I don't really blame him for trying to make that one work too. But yeah, Russ cooked until the very end, and Dallas got the win. Now, granted, Brandon Aubrey kicking a 64-yard field goal to send it to overtime, that helps quite a bit.
Played against him and fantasy. He outscored everyone on my team except for the quarterback.
Well, I played
It's
against Malik Neighbors, so that
pretty
wasn't
sweet.
fun either. I had to deal with that on in that game, so that wasn't fun. But yeah, Dallas getting the win, 40-37 in overtime in exciting fashion. The one I didn't get to see that I did enjoy seeing the scores of though, Lions and Bears. Jared Goff throwing 5 touchdown passes. I was happy I drafted him after seeing that. I got a lot of points there, and the Bears are continue to be the Bears. Just
Yes.
don't look good, and that's going to be a tough turnaround. Uh, that's
How
just a
long they been
franchise
saying that,
that's
man?
yeah, I say it's just a franchise that's cursed, right? At least that's what it
Yeah.
feels. But Seattle taking care of business against Pittsburgh. A little surprised by that, just how 31-17. I don't know. I thought they'd do better than that. Pittsburgh, that is. Um,
It
Colts
was
edged the
close up until that
Broncos.
kickoff fiasco.
Yeah. Well, Colts edged the Broncos 29-28. Cardinals beat the Panthers in a game I don't feel like anybody watched. Of course, Eagles beat the Chiefs, and last night's games I actually stayed up and watched till the very end, just because I had my hopes that maybe somebody would do something on my fantasy squad at the end of the game to win it, and then they didn't, and then I cussed the TV, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Falcons beat the Vikings in the first game last night. JJ McCarthy looked like JJ McCarthy in the first 3 quarters of last week. That's I know it's tough to be a rookie quarterback, but that's I don't know. We don't have as much patience as we used to with quarterbacks. Um, you usually get nowadays you get like a 2 year window, and if it's not working, they're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Um, Makes sense. Just you got to find a guy that can play, especially if you're the Vikings, and that's why I wanted Aaron Rodgers to. I wanted to see Aaron Rodgers in Minnesota because I know that team is built to win now, and you're developing a quarterback that's essentially a rookie quarterback. He's not a rookie, but he is. He didn't play at all last year in the regular season.
They ain't gonna get to play for a while now. We'll get to figure out what Carson Wentz can do with that offense.
What happened there?
A high ankle sprain out 3 to 4 weeks, but they said it could be possibly be longer. But yeah, Carson Wentz is like the first QB to start for 6 different franchises within 6 years.
Are you sure about that?
Dude, I seen it on ESPN earlier at lunch.
There had to be a. I feel like Josh McCown started for 16 different teams in a 6 year stretch. I mean, I'm being,
Uh,
sarcastic, but
yeah,
I figured him or like I say Vinny Testaverde, but he was primarily a Jet. It feels like back in the day. when it was old to be a 40-year-old quarterback. Then that was unheard of. Uh, the other game was more exciting though. Bucks and Texans. Baker and company going down to score at the end and win it. By the way, the Buccaneers with their running back named Bucky Irving. I mean, it's just the
Yeah.
guy that was born to play running back for Tampa Bay. Pretty cool, and a good player at that. Um, I like this resurgence of Baker Mayfield. I was never I was never not I wasn't a hater of his or anything, or I wasn't a fan, but I wasn't not a fan. If that makes sense, I just knew he was a good player in college, and he was very talkative, probably immature, but just
Yeah.
mouthy. I could understand why people didn't like him, but I didn't necessarily have anything against it. I didn't care really, and
Yeah.
I
Oh, it was
like.
funny whenever he got tackled on Dixon.
Yes, I did think that was funny. Uh, he would probably tell you that that's funny now,
Yes. I
not
think
in the
he
moment.
has since then. Yeah.
But it was cool. I was rooting for the guy in Cleveland just because I wanted to see Cleveland have a quarterback finally and have some success. And they did kind of the first year. I mean, they did. They went and won a playoff game with him. And then it was just all downhill after that. And you're thinking, well, maybe this guy can't play. And then he bounces around for that year, and then goes to Tampa Bay and it takes over for Brady and it works out. I mean, he's not all world or anything, but I mean, he's putting up numbers, he's winning games, and I like this resurgence of Baker Mayfield. He looks like Baker Mayfield again, and like he's having fun playing football, and that's cool to see. I'm becoming a fan of the guy to a degree, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Well, what's your take on that? Are you just indifferent, like don't care?
I mean, I've kind of always liked Baker. I mean, he was the walk on. He won the Heisman. I mean, can't really hate on the guy. So makes good commercials. So, uh, but yeah, uh, I'm not like a super fan, but I don't hate on the guy.
Well, I'm not either. I'm just because I like seeing him have success, and
Yeah,
I
it's
like the way
he's
that
very fun to watch.
yeah, I like to. I just like to watch the guy play. It looks like he has fun. He's got kind of Favre esque, not ability, but Favre esque. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Moxie, maybe. It just looks like he has fun playing the game when he's out there, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, which is wild that people play a game where they don't have fun.
yeah, but it's different when those two do it.
Yeah.
It yeah, that's the best thing I can come up with. And like you said, I think I also liked him when he got mic'd up and you could just hear the stuff he said on the sideline. Another team getting a penalty and him just going on repeat like he's like, can't do that, and then it just gets more like over the top country as he says it, and by the end of it he goes, can't do that. Just all on mic, and I'm like, yes, that's a franchise quarterback.
Give him all the money.
So what?
So give him all the money. He's
Yeah,
franchise quarterback.
absolutely. I mean, they've kind of done that, so
Yeah.
good on them. Okay, do we want to? I don't know. Pick the Arkansas Memphis game this Saturday. It's at Memphis.
Uh, I mean, sure, that's going to happen one way or another. Vegas opened up with Arkansas being a 6.5 point favorite on the road. Um, man,
You know,
I read
I would say that's it, 6.5 points, but based on the way the defense is played, makes sense.
exactly. I read yesterday they're going to, of course, the coordinator said he's going to try and simplify the defense, make it more sound, make sure everybody's in the right locations and everything. I'm not
They're
expecting
doing
that to
that
take
already?
place I'm not expecting that to take place in these 4 days that they have, or the 3 days in pads, if that, before they go hit the bus and go to Memphis. Um, and there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think we'll end up winning by 10 points or so. I'll say like 45-35.
Oh, so we're doing okay, doing scores and everything. Makes sense, I guess. That's a pretty good score. I think there will be some points scored. Um, yeah, I don't even know how good Memphis is. I don't know what their record is or
Good.
anything.
They're going to put up some points. They score
Okay,
points.
honestly, I don't even know, but and I would still pick them to score 30 points, even knowing nothing about them. Just
Can't
I,
name one person on their team, but they're going to score points.
no. Joe T. Robinson High School could have dropped 28 on that Arkansas defense Saturday, as far as I'm concerned. It was that bad. I'll also pick Arkansas to win it. I'll say you had a good score. I'm gonna have to stop letting you pick the score first. Of course, I didn't know we were throwing out scores, but I guess we are. Although I should because we do it all the time.
Didn't do it last week, so
That's true, but still, I'll say 40. I'll say 48. I'll say 48 to
14. What?
no, I didn't say that. 48 35. 48 35 Arkansas.
28 sounds cooler. But
And if I sound like I made that up, it's because I did. I don't even feel good about that, throwing it out there, but it is what it is. Okay. Any other games you're looking forward to this week or what we're talking about? Or I don't even know if what I just said makes sense, but um, there was a fight over the weekend. Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. I didn't see it.
forgot all about it. Yep.
I didn't forget. I just don't have Netflix, so I didn't watch it. Um, but the result was what I thought it would be. I thought Terrence Crawford would win and win kind of handily. Um, but Canelo is always a game fighter. But Terrence Crawford's the best fighter in the world right now, so not surprised by that outcome. Good on him. Um, he jumped up two weight classes. That was the big thing. I mean, to go from starting as a welterweight to unifying the super middleweight titles, that's a wild jump. It's a massive leap.
Oh.
But yeah, that happened over the weekend. Okay, games you're looking forward to, if any, before we get out of here.
Next weekend we get two big matchups in the top 25. We get Indiana versus Illinois, at Indiana, and then we have Auburn versus Oklahoma. And that is at Oklahoma. So we'll get to see what's what, at least of those teams. There's not really any other notable matchups. Well, we got Texas Tech and Utah.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
we'll see. Hopefully the Hogs show out in Memphis.
Hopefully. Also, Arch Manning appears to not be as good as everybody thought he might be. Getting booed by your own fans, but understandably so after what, like 10, 11 straight incompletions. That's rough.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody put on their Warby Parkers, man, and starting to see him for what he is.
yes, exactly. But also, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. He died today. One of my 89 years old, all-time actor, and one of my favorite baseball movies ever, The Natural. Roy Hobbs, all-time classic. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But we are out of time, so we'll see y'all next week. I'm Grandpal.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.